Today, or tonight, I'm going to be talking about protecting yourself in Japan. And I'm not talking about like criminals or thieves or gangsters or like typhoons or any of that weak stuff. I'm talking about the real threat as an ALT. I'm talking about the kids, man. If you are not physically fit or physically intimidating, you will die very young. At least at my school. It's pretty hardcore. Your mileage may differ, but like once the bell rings at the end of class, the kids just break to me like I'm the 50. That's a paintball reference. At the end of class, the kids just they rush me like catwalk, man. That's a Counter-Strike reference. I basically just have to brace myself like a Spartan and just take the hit. And this only happens with the 1st through 3rd graders. 4th graders, they're a little calmer. 5th graders, obviously, they're so mature. And the 6th graders, oh my goodness. If you get a high five from a 6th grader, you're doing good. But obviously, they have different ways of showing their appreciation. The kids, they'll kill you. I mean, I eat lunch with them every day. They're coughing and sneezing and picking their noses, and you're this close. Eating with the 1st graders, it's like a test of willpower. Because they're coughing, and they're sneezing. You know, they're kids, they just don't know how to not spread disease. I've been doing okay so far, haven't been sick yet. Knock on every piece of wood I can find. And, yeah, so, protect yourself, vitamins, fruits, vegetables. When the kid gets too crazy, you just, put up your defenses, take a step back, try not to step on another kid in the process. But it's a lot of fun. But yeah, just the kids are crawling all over you. Like, my ties at the end of the day are just, I can't touch them. So many kids have been playing with it, and it's just, I love kids and all, but you just have to be careful. Don't, under any circumstances, touch your eyes at any point during the day. It's like your eye will just die, it'll explode on contact. Through all the high fives and etc. with the kids, it's just like a breeding ground. And we got the flu season coming up, so we'll see how that goes. I have some airborne on special order from the United States, so assuming that makes it here, I should be okay. Protecting yourself also includes your image as well. When I'm not in my apartment, in these however many square feet of Leo Palace I have here, but when I'm not in my apartment, I am at work. Obviously, I don't look too foreign, but people know. I'm the only person wearing a helmet on my bike. People know. I'm not from around here, okay? They're not nosy. They don't like to gossip. It's just that as a foreigner, you're going to be different. So they just can't help but be interested in what you're doing. And, so that's just kind of how it goes. So if I go out to eat anywhere in a 1 mile radius, there's a really good chance I'm going to see some of my students. So, and once you see one of the students, the next day you go to class, the entire class knows, oh, he was at Seizeria yesterday. Ooh. Kevin Sensei, what did you eat? Obviously, but in Japanese. You know what I mean? So, you're just interesting. So, be aware. And another thing that kind of goes along the same lines is females in the workplace. I know this is a first world country and everything, but in a lot of ways they're still very traditional. And I know one of the questions on the application form is, if you're a female, obviously you answer this question, would you have a problem serving tea to the men at work? The question is basically along those lines, would that be a problem if they ask you to serve tea? Basically because you're a woman. And I, obviously I didn't have to answer that question, but if you check that box, yes, I wouldn't mind, you will better understand that you might have to do that. Obviously, as an ALT, that might not come up as much, and not in my school. I don't know how it is at other schools, but I do know that there were a few instances where there were several male teachers talking, doing basically nothing. The principal has a couple visitors, and the male teachers are just standing around doing nothing. And the one female teacher who just got off the phone, is taking a message, is doing all kinds of stuff. The principal's not asking any of those males to get tea for the guests, okay? He's asking the lady. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. I don't have any say on what happens, but it's just kind of how it works. Especially if she's good looking, you well better know you're getting the tea. Like, first impressions are everything, right? So, I'm sorry, but there's nothing you can do about it. It's just tradition. Don't be offended, just how it is, I guess. And kind of along those same lines, I found it interesting when I did a little after-school activity with the kids. There was a female ALT and myself, and there were grades of children from 1 to 6. So there's a pretty good mix of children. And the guy who was putting this together does not speak English very well. He's very Japanese. He's an older gentleman. But it was very interesting. I was kind of put off a little bit by this. But he said, oh, okay, well, you're a female, so you'll handle the young kids, grades 1 through 3, and because you're a boy, you'll do the older kids, grades 4 through 6. Okay, good, good. Like, it wasn't even a question. It was more of a, this is how it's going to be done because this is how it's done. You have no say. And I was kind of like, you know, I'm really good with little kids, and she's really good with older kids, but we're just going to throw all that out the window because this is Japan. So it was kind of interesting. I mean, in the end it worked out fine because we don't suck at our jobs, but it was just really interesting how the cultural standard was, okay, these kids are more advanced, therefore the male will teach them. And these kids don't know very much, therefore the female will teach them. And it was kind of silly, but that's just, I'm a foreigner, I'm not gonna say anything, but just be aware that those kind of things do happen. Don't be dumb.